And now we're going to go and do the same thing for compound interest. But the difference between simple interest and compound interest, the main one, first point there, is that compound interest generates more interest as you earn interest on the interest. Now, for this particular example here, the rate is exactly as it was before, the amount is exactly as it was before, and the number of years is also 4 years. But we need to use one extra little bit of information, because to easily increase something by 8%, we multiply it by 1.08, and we have to remember that. The other thing to remember is that when you're using your calculator, try and don't kind of remove the numbers and retype them in, just leave full accuracy on your calculators. But when you write down a number, round it to 2 decimal places for money, and that represents the number of cents. So here's the step-by-step method to apply compound interest in this particular case. Well, in the first year, there's actually no difference. There's no real benefit, because we still end up with 1,080 like we did before. We started with 1,000 at the beginning of the year. The interest on that is at 8%, which is 80 Rand. If you add it, it's 1,080. But the quick way to do that, as I've just been indicating, is to multiply by 1.08. Now, here's the thing. During the second year, we're applying the interest to the 1,080, not to the original 1,000. We're actually calculating interest on a larger amount. So it's that larger amount that's been multiplied by 1.08, and we get 116.40. That goes into the next year. And again, that's multiplied by 1.08 to give us 125971. That goes into the fourth year, multiplied by 1.08 to give us our number of rands, 1360.49. And what we've effectively done, if you think about those 4 bullet points, the original amount has been multiplied repeatedly by 1.08, first time, then a second time, then a third time, then a fourth time, 4 times in total. But of course, in mathematics, we'd write that as 1.08 to the power 4. And that's what leads us to the direct method, which is very simple. But remember, this is just for compound interest. It's a different formula, as I said before, and I need to just correct it here so that you can see it. It's actually that. The n, which was in here, inside the bracket for simple interest, becomes the power of the bracket for compound interest. And that actually is literally the power of compound interest. That's how it works. So in this particular case, P is still 1,000, I is still 8%, and N, the number of years, is still 4, but the 4 is no longer inside the bracket where it was before, it's now the power outside the bracket. What does that calculation come to? Well, the bracket to the power 4 is 1.36048896 on my calculator. Multiply that by 1,000 and round to 2 decimal places for the cents, and you get 1360.49. And that really is it. The step-by-step method will give you the answer. It shows you what is going on, gives you, if you like, the understanding. The direct method is a quicker method as long as you remember how the formula differs from simple interest and you apply it correctly. That's all there is to it. Well done.